Hey guys, it's me T3raByt and I'm back with you with a new video. Today's video is going to be on a really interesting topic. This is a common FAQ that a lot of people have asked me on my Instagram, Facebook, whatnot, LinkedIn, wherever, everywhere actually. And this is the longest debated topic, and a lot of people have this question that what is the difference between OSCP and CEH? Today we are going to talk about it actually. So I'm gonna give you all the differences that we have between OSCP and CEH. What are the, how the preparation path is going to be, what is going to be the course content and everything. So I'm going to talk all about OSCP and CEH, right? So this is what we're going to talk about, right? So I'm just going to give you the introduction, how it actually works, what are the key points and everything. So yeah, keep your devices ready to take screenshots, or I'm also going to put these whole slide that I'm going to show you all this presentation in the description. Do take it from there, or maybe you can just take screenshots for whatever important that you see. So let's understand first the difference between both of them. Okay, CEH is not that complex, but there is a lot of doubts I've seen with newcomers in OSCP. Like, what exactly is OSCP? What are the points that we should be concerned about? So if you talk about OSCP, is provided by this organization called Offensive Security. So Offensive Security is the same organization who have made Kali Linux for you, the very own playground for you guys. So this is a certificate that they are providing. So it's the most technical and most challenging certificate because it is 100% practical, right? So it's going to be real fun, obviously. It's a 24-hour exam and 24-hour reporting. So there's like 2 days completely occupied. So it's really interesting, right? If you want any kind of reference, if you want to know more about it, definitely you can visit the site. This is the link that I've given somewhere above top, I don't know. Anyways, so yeah, moving forward to the course registration. So this is a common thing that not a lot of people know about. So registration, what it requires? It requires a non-free email address. It is very important to have an email address. For example, like, you cannot give out your Gmail account, you cannot give Yahoo or any other free email accounts that you can create. You should have a company provided, like a professional email account for sure. If you don't have it, that's okay, you still can give the exam. All you have to do is you just have to give out some of your identity along with the other registration details, right? So identity will include like your passport, your driver's license, your address proof or something like that. Additionally, they can they might need to see your photograph, your birth certificate, just for the sake of a confirmation. So yeah, it can work out. If you don't have a professional ID, you can still go with it. Okay, so that was the main thing that I needed to tell you about the course registration that people should know. You can get the details from their FAQ section. There is a lot more information definitely there, but this is some key notes that you need to know about it. Talking about the course prerequisite. So before starting the course, what exactly you need to know? This is very important because they ask me like, what should we learn? How do we prepare? So this is it. You need to definitely have a good knowledge of TCP/IP protocol, networking, the basics of networking. They should be knowing good information about. You should be having a good skill for Linux, right? Or how to use it, how it works, the functionality. You should be familiar. Okay, this is a good part. So a lot of people ask me like, how many languages should I learn? So you should be learning Bash, Python, Perl, C#. Will be really great. So these languages are really important when it comes to your preparation for OSCP. You should be comfortable with scripting. You should be comfortable with Linux and Windows command line syntax, right? You should be familiar with the assembly and debuggers. You should be knowing like how to use them, right? You should be knowing a little bit more about assembly language, the registers and all. And the most important thing is that you need to have a habit of note taking, right? There are a lot of softwares, a lot of tools for that. There is this very great tool I used personally that was Evernote. So yeah, you can use that as well. Talking about the course, what is in the course? What is it that you are going to deal with in OSCP? So these are all the topics that I have listed down in the slide. You're going to work with Linux and Windows buffer overflows, active information gathering and stuff. This is common. Talk about password attacks, web application attack, client-side attacks, privilege escalations. Like, it's all fulfilled information and the course content, and it's really interesting because you need to know multiple things, and you need to know about Linux and Windows altogether. You need to know about exploit writing can be a really good plus point for you guys. If you know it, it's awesome. So this is going to be in the course for OSCP. If you talk about the lab environment, the kind of lab environment that you're going to get is going to be on a VPN. It's on a virtual private network that you need to connect with. Once you connect with it, you can actually interact with the system. If you're familiar with the basic concept of capture the flag machines, then you can understand it very well, that ultimately you just have to gain the flag. You have to get the flag in order to prove that you have solved the machine. That's exactly how it is. Simple, right? Now it's the main important part. Like, now you know what is going to be taught and what you're going to learn. Now it comes a part of exam preparation. Like, you have spent a lot of times, but what exactly do you prepare for, right? How do you prepare for it? So for that, you need definitely a good speed internet, okay? So before preparing for the exam, make sure like you always have a backup internet with you, just in case for the worst case scenario that maybe your primary internet is off, because that can create a real good problem. I have personally seen it with a lot of my other students. Script your enumeration, script your privilege escalation check. Automation is a very important key that I'll say that can help you save a lot of time in these kind of competitive examinations, right? So when you have automated your scripts, you can use them and you can save that time in doing something more important and necessary that you're supposed to do. So I really recommend everybody to look into these links. I'm going to put them in the slides, which is going to be in the description. Otherwise, you can just take a screenshot, or maybe so you can put that in the URL bar if you're active enough. But otherwise, they're going to be with you anyway, right? If you want some more reference, you can go to this link below in the reference link. You can find some more information about how automation can work, or what kind of enumeration you'll be dealing with. I'm not going in detail, but I'm just giving you the idea what should be the preparation. The big day, the exam day, right? This is the big day you actually are scared about. What exactly happens in the exam? So there is a myth that I want to bust out, that it's not a complete 24-hour exam. It's a 23 hours 45 minutes, okay, to be precise. So the rest of the 15 minutes is like for the analysis and revision stuff. But yeah, that's how it's going to be. There are going to be 5 machines that you have to compromise, right? 5 targets you have to deal with. You need at least 70% out of 100 points to pass. You have to get the 70 points out of 100, right? So that's the passing marks that you need to have. Talking about the restrictions, now this is very important part, and I want you guys to pay attention in this thing. So you cannot use any of these attacks that I have listed. Spoofing is not allowed. Commercial tools, like if you're having a pro version of Metasploit, Burp Pro, they ain't gonna work. Okay, you gotta use the community open source tools, okay, majorly. Automated exploitation tools are not gonna work either. So now here's a difference. Automated scripts and automated exploitation tools are quite different, okay? You have to understand the difference between them. So the exploitation tools automated are not allowed. SQL map is one of them. So a lot of script kiddies who are dependent on SQL map, please grow up. Okay, mass vulnerability scanners, they are not allowed as well. You cannot use them and simply just scan for vulnerabilities like Nesters. They won't allow you to do that, okay? There are a few names I have already added. Features and other tools utilize either forbidden or restrict exam limitations. So if there is a tool which have any of these features, not allowed. Metasploit. Now this is very important to understand how and when you can use Metasploit. Metasploit is allowed, but there are some conditions. You can only use Metasploit auxiliary, exploit and post modules against one target of your choice. You have to first define that which target you want to deal with, and you can use it only for that particular one target, okay? You cannot use it all the time for all of them, okay? And if you're going to use the multi-handler, the meta-predator, the MSF payload, console or MSF venom, you can use for as many targets. There's no boundation. But if you're using the auxiliary, exploit or post modules, only one target is allowed, and that too you have to define it before. So choose wisely. That's something that you need to understand, right? I've seen conditions where students don't even know about this and they appear for the exam and ultimately they end up getting disqualified because of this kind of stuff. So this happens. So you should be knowing this. So I added. Next thing that you need to know is the exam connection should be very stable for your own good, obviously. The exam control panel, you should be definitely looking a lot in the control panel. You should understand like how it's going to look. I don't have a screenshot for sure. I cannot share that, to be honest. You should be submitting this proof files all the time. Revert to target machines. You already have a limited 24-hour access, so make sure you make the best use of it. View specific target objective and value points. So understand like which one have a higher priority and which one can be targeted easily. So you have to make that segregation accordingly. Right. So exam proofs, this is important to understand. So we're going to have local.txt, proof.txt, or some directories that we're going to get. So these are the, if you're familiar again with the CTF concept, if you have played enough CTFs, you definitely know how the proofs are going to look like, how you can identify them. I'm not going to elaborate on that part. Right. In Windows, you might need a complete shell. You need to provide proofs in a shell, maybe like a reverse or bind shell, depending on the kind of shell that you have. Obtain the content of the proof files, right? Okay, see, obtaining the contents of the proof file in any other way will result in 0 points of the target machine. So if you're obtaining the results in any other way apart from the ones mentioned, it's void. It's disqualified. It's not going to work. So make sure you do it the same way I mentioned here. Exam proof in Linux is same as Windows, so I'm just going to copy paste it, right? So yeah. Screenshots, okay, very important thing. Screenshots is something really important. No matter if you complete it in time, if your screenshots aren't appropriate, then there is a big chance you can be disqualified. So target which does not require a privilege escalation, you must provide at minimum 2 screenshots. If you're not involved into privilege escalation, you need 2 screenshots. But if you are involving into privilege escalation, you feel that your target actually requires a privilege escalation, then you need minimum of 4 screenshots. So make sure you take your screenshots very carefully, okay? So this is something that I need to tell. Maybe you can just rewind and just listen to it again if you don't understand. Otherwise, the slides are going to be with you anyway. Now, let's talk about some tips and tricks, okay? These are not only my own tips and tricks, but I spoke to a lot of other people, other OSCPs in my connection, and we found that, okay, this is something that we can share with the newcomers or the people who are having some dilemmas or some doubts regarding OSCP. Time management is very important. Like you need to understand like how you're going to segregate every single minute or every single hour, okay? Avoid the rabbit holes. Very obviously, try to understand. See, this comes with experience. Very honestly speaking, this will come with experience. You need to understand and predict maybe, or maybe just understand the whole cycle, like how it's going to be, how the exploit is going to work, or what kind of result I can expect. So that comes with experience, and that is why I say keep practicing. So when you do practice, you'll be able to identify a rabbit hole. So rabbit hole is like an endless tunnel which doesn't lead to anywhere. So that's what I'm trying to refer here. Make a battle plan, which will stick to the whole length of the exam. Just try to understand like this is really prior. Okay, this is very important because you are dealing with OSCP exam, which is going to help you a lot in your career. So you need to make a proper disciplined plan. So that's why I use the term battle plan, because it requires discipline. I would say does not take longer more than 12 hours exam without sleep. Okay, I've seen people, so what they say is that, okay, I'm gonna sit straight for 48 hours, 42 hours, and I'm gonna complete it in a single go. Doesn't work like that. Don't do it, please, because it will just stress out your brain and you might not be able to function properly. So that's going to be a big problem for you guys. So I'll just recommend that you don't go that way. It will be better for you, right? So take your naps, take rest, maybe just go out, take breaks. In short, I'll say, okay, take maybe a rest break, call your friends, talk to them, chat with them, maybe just play a quick match or PUBG, I guess, whatever kids are into these days. Right, take breaks, relax yourself, okay? Use the last 15 to 30 minutes to check before the VPN dies, okay? So this is a very common thing that we have been listening from our high school time, that, okay, always give time to revision. This is the same thing I'm saying here. Always give 15 to 30 minutes for the revision time before the VPN goes off, because that will be the moment when you confirm everything is okay with all the testing that you have done. So if in case you missed a screenshot or something, you can take it then. Otherwise, once the 24 hours complete, you cannot do it. Demonstrate creative problem solving and lateral thinking. Okay, this is very important. This is something mentally. Okay, so as a hacker, as pen testers, we don't really talk about our mental strategies. Okay, this is very important to understand. You cannot only learn stuff from the books and the videos. You need to have a mental strategy when you are actually playing with these kind of stuff, when you are dealing with different kind of vulnerabilities or exploits, right? You need to consider how you are actually going to perform an attack, what is going to be the approach, what kind of results that you might get, and plan accordingly, right? So there's a lot of if and else situation that over here. So this is very important to understand. So that's why I added this point here. Talking about the penetration process techniques, so these are the ones which will definitely help you. So these are the common ones. I'm pretty sure if you're preparing for it, you know it. If not, then info gathering, discovering security holes, exploitation of vulnerabilities, privilege escalation, and maintaining access. So these are some techniques that you should be aware of and fluent with. So practice for them for sure. Reporting is very tricky and important part here, because if your report is not good, you are not going to be getting the certificate, right? So a step-by-step documentation is really required. You should elaborate every single thing that you do. Okay, I'll see if I can share some examples with you, but if not, then definitely I'll add up maybe on my Instagram story or something. You can follow me there. Documentation requirements are very strict, and failure to provide sufficient documents will reduce to 0 points being awarded. So no matter you spend 24-hour times and you completed all 5 machines, if the report is not having the documents, it's going to be 0. So you better not go that way, alright? So consult the people who have done OSCP. Maybe you can DM me and I'll share some tips about report writing or stuff like that. This video is not for report writing in specific, but I can share some tips in the DMs if you want to ask. So yeah, one more point. 5 points for the lab and 5 points for the exercise report. So 10 points all secured. The rest remaining is 90 points. So segregation, as I said, it is very important to understand. So yeah, so that's how it is. So these are some tips and tricks that I wanted to share for the OSCP exam. The best part about the whole thing is, man, you gotta enjoy the complete experience, because when you're going through that thrill and you're going through all that enthusiasm and that action, all the things going on in your brain and adrenaline rush coming up after you're solving a machine or stucking at something, that's really enjoying, and you should have fun. Don't take stress, don't stress out for anything, okay? It's just a simple exam. If you have prepared well, if you have studied well, if you're dedicated, you're gonna pass it, you're gonna make it, okay? So don't worry. So enjoy the whole process. I'll add the websites that are recommended because this is going to be with you, so I'll just put that in the description. This is going to be the whole slides are going to be in the description. Maybe you can just take a screenshot if you want, or maybe you can download it from there. The slides are going to be there, don't worry about it, right? So that was about OSCP, man. OSCP was really interesting for me. I really enjoyed the whole journey, the whole practice and the preparation time. Let's now give it a thought. Let's now take a look at CEH. I know it's going to be a lengthy video, but I think it's really important to just explain both of them, so that's why I'm doing it. We got to know about OSCP. If you got questions, there's the comment section. Put anything that you feel like. We're gonna next talk about CEH. Let's go. So in CEH, we're gonna talk about the overview and everything and all the details, right? I'm not gonna show like the agenda because obviously we know what we're talking about. So what is CEH? It is a certificate that is given by another organization called EC Council. EC Council is also another globally accredited organization. So the CEH full form is Certified Ethical Hacker, right? CEH is mostly conceptual and a little mind-boggling. So you see the main differences here. It's more conceptual, it is more practical. OSCP is more practical, CEH is more conceptual. So both are important. Definitely CEH is having a high relevancy, which a lot of people ignore, but it is having that relevancy and accreditation, right? Both flavors are there. There is practical and theory, so you can go and choose for any one of them. Both the flavors are there, but most of the people go for theory, and that's okay, no problem with that. Theoretical exam will go for, like, it's a 4-hour long exam. There are 125 MCQ questions, right? Practical goes for a 6-hour exam, and it's a lab-based exam. There's going to be a machine that you got to solve, or any kind of practicals that will be given, right? So you can get the reference from the official website. The link is down already. So that's the difference majorly. This is how the CEH exam actually is conducted. What does it entail? because people ask me the versus part, which one is better. You can't compare them, to be honest, because the kind of nature both holds, the kind of relevancy both have, you cannot compare them. But you can say the differences are there, but cannot be compared to each other because they are quite different things, right? So what does it entail? So the exam is an entry-level certificate, right? It's composed of 125 questions. All of them are multiple choice questions, right? They're quite easy, to be honest. Like, it's not that difficult, to be very frank, if you have already given enough dedication in studying it. So I don't see you're gonna get any problem. So if you go with the point that I wrote here, the MCQs are really easy to answer than the questions that expect full written out answers, or even worse, like essays, or you don't need to write paragraphs or stuff. You just need to select one of the best options. So that's what you can do. If you see the tentative breakdown of the section-wise breakdown, this is how it's going to look like. So there are going to be these 7 you can say sections on which it is divided, and you get the marks according to those sections. So there will be 5 questions based on the background, 16 questions on analysis part. Security will be having 31 questions. Tools, system and programs, all those things will be having almost 40 questions. Very easy, not that difficult. If you know the tools, you can give it. Procedure and methodology 25, regulation 5 question, and ethics 3. So, and yes, your marks, your passing score will depend majorly on these sections. So it's really important to understand that. So you can get the details on the FAQ page for the website. Definitely you can visit there and you can search for some FAQs. Now talking about the eligibility, if you are eligible for CEH or not, how to check that. The exam is an entry-level certificate, so there is no such eligibility, to be honest. Like, anybody who can actually prepare for them is eligible for the same. So that's the thing. If you ask me if I'm eligible, yes. If you are already gone through all this criteria, I feel that you can definitely go for CEH. All you have to go through is the syllabus of the EC Council, that's it, which is already available online. You can also check that, right? Now talking about getting started for CEH, how we actually prepare for that. You have to do research for sure. You have to go to do research for that. It's not easy, okay? When it comes to preparation for CEH, you need to do your diligence in research, and nothing beats starting off the prep in the right way, okay? So you have to understand there are a lot of background checks that you can do on different kind of concept that they are being taught in CEH. You can maybe look into some other practice question papers that are available, so you can just get an idea how you are going, what kind of thing you're going to deal with, right? Get a study guide. Maybe you can I advise it that to refresh some industry related information in order to have a comfortable training experience. You need to know, understand the basics of networking, TCP/IP, cryptography. You need to know to use a Windows basic computer, and that's all, to be honest. Linux, if you have knowledge, it's really good. It's a plus point because that will help you understand the tools and other stuff. So yeah, that's what is a preliminary prerequisite for CEH. For when you're preparing for it, when you're studying for it, this is the kind of checklist that I recommend generally students when I'm training them. So after you discover the gap exists in your hacker knowledge, when you know that you have learned a lot of stuff, just create a checklist of the study topics, okay? Just prioritize every topic, that what you're going to learn first and what you're going to deal with first, right? So that you can give more attention to the ones which are important, right, to the topics basically. So the topics are here, the countermeasures. You can definitely look into access points and security controls, security laws and industrial standards. Network security will include enumeration, firewalls, footprinting, reconnaissance, the most important part, right? Then you can look for the rest of these topics like session hijacking, scanning, TCP handshakes, DOS attacks, security issues in Windows, sniffers, SQL injection, whatnot. It's completely filled with information, right? Sometimes people do underestimate CEH. You should not, basically. If you will go through the whole CEH, I have seen people that they call themselves CEH but they don't really know about the concept. So make sure that you go through all these security checklists very carefully, okay, if you actually want to become a proper certified ethical hacker. Now talking about the stepwise guide, okay, so there are going to be 5 steps that I'm going to tell to prepare and pass the CEH examination to get the CEH certificate, right? The step 1 includes that it is required to have a knowledge for Windows and Linux and networking. You need to know Linux servers, you need to know Windows servers. You should also be learning virtualization concepts. These are some basic concepts that you need to understand. You need to understand the command line interface for Windows and Linux both. So this way you are more getting, known to the kind of architecture you're working with. If you're working with Windows or Linux or a different kind of distros for Linux, so you should be comfortable with that. Step number 2, I'll say, while doing self-study, it is important to choose the right books, all-in-one exam materials. Matt Walker have a really great exam material. Okay, I personally recommend that to students as well. Otherwise, you should be definitely having your topics and study material really segregated properly. Okay, whatever you are collecting, segregate them properly as per the kind of section that you're studying right now. Right, as a section that we mentioned earlier, just segregate on the basis of them. Step 3 that I say generally I tell students is that try taking out sample practice sheets. As I said, there are a lot of tests available, free ones as well on the online. You can just maybe do some Google search. There are a lot of free practice tests for CEH. Go for them. See like where you stand. Understand what kind of questions are going to come, how you're going to handle them, so that way you will get a rough idea, a rough approach how you can basically how you can appear for the CEH examination. Step 4, I will say, play a lot with security tools, right? The more you play with tools, the more you know them, the more features you know about them, the more implementation you will understand. Because see, why I'm saying is that the reason is that when you are dealing with a question, they will in CEH there might be some scenario based question as well, wherein you will be given a particular scenario and they will ask you like, okay, let's say if this is the kind of response I'm getting, so what kind of script was used by Nmap, right? Or what kind of flags can be seen in the results. So that kind of stuff can be there. So you need to be very much aware of the kind of tool that you use and what kind of results you can expect. So you should be playing a lot with the tools. Okay, so I'm not gonna name every single tool because there's a lot of them: TCP dump, Wireshark, Netcat, Snort, etc., etc., etc. So you should be aware of them. Okay. You can definitely look onto different channels on YouTube, or maybe I'm gonna put some more videos on tools I have been already putting, and I'll be putting more, so maybe you can refer them. So yeah, there are already a lot of content on the internet for this. Step 5 is that when you are done with the preparation, try taking practice vigorously. Okay, don't just take it lightly. Okay, CEH is something that you can easily take out. Make sure that you do it. Make sure that you are confirmed that you can actually do it, and until then just keep practicing different stuff. Maybe practice CTFs. When you practice CTF, you understand the real-time scenario, how you can actually deal with different questions. Take up the CEH exam when you're confident enough, and good to go. That's what I'll recommend. Right. So yeah, so that was about OSCP and CEH. I hope I explained every single detail about OSCP and CEH, and I hope it really helped. I tried to put out as much as of my experience for them. I gave CEH and OSCP both. I have other certificates too, but these are the 2 certificates a lot of people ask about, and I hope it really helped out. If you have any questions regarding any of these certifications, if you need help, you need guidance, need training, just reach out to me. You can maybe just leave a DM on my Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, wherever you feel good, or maybe just leave a comment here that if you need help. Right. So yeah, that's it. I hope you enjoyed the video, and you can just subscribe my channel, like it, and share it with your friends who are having these kind of doubts or questions, and leave a comment for any kind of suggestions as well. We are free for that. Additionally, join our community BCL, Byte Labs. We are daily updating new content and features there. We need your support, guys, so that we can grow more and we can deliver great content to you guys. Till then, guys, please take care of yourself, study hard, stay dedicated, stay focused, keep the scene alive, and keep hacking. It's me, T3raByt3, and see you in the next video. Bye for now.